Well, here he comes, Brian Cashman, and we're going to ask him. Hi, Cash. Put the little headset on here. And we ready to go here?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, here. We were just talking back thing. This guy immediately, and obviously I haven't met him, all business, wants to win, very serious. We know that he loves to tinker with pitches and do more and more every time. Why was he so high on your list? What did you see? We know the results, but what about him did you want so desperately? Because I've heard that name for a while now.
Yeah, he's obviously left-handed. The track record. Our guys have watched him. Over the course of time, he's got a 5-pitch mix. He's since his amateur draft into the pro ranks, traded from San Diego to Atlanta, he keeps adding pitches, he keeps tinkering, learning from others, and evolving. And he's evolved into one of the game's better starters. And he's kind of like reserved,
Very,
but on the mound, it's different. He's got real competitive juices. We've done a lot of deep dives on him, and I think he talked about it here just a little bit, where he was like, just let it all go out on the field, and he empties the tank, and then in between, he's just a regular guy. It was a really good interaction we had with him on the Zoom. Real genuine person. Feel like Boone had alluded to, he will fit really well in this clubhouse. And but anyway, all our recon was, this is a really good human being, 1, really talented pitcher, 2, and not afraid of the big stage, 3. I felt certainly comfortable when the dust settled after because we went all in on this. Obviously, it's a big contract. And but I felt comfortable knowing who else was in on this, after with the dust settled, hearing how, what the competition was.
Well, can you tell us what the competition was?
Me being able to verify with the opposing teams where they were at when it was done, and we officially had them pass the physical and stuff. All right, where were you guys at? How close was this? And, and I felt comfortable that we weren't on an island, and some of the other teams that certainly we're competing against, as well as some of the teams outside of our division, also within our division, were on him, and that made me feel at least that all right, we're in a safe harbor of a lot of people seeing the same things. Okay,
a couple of things. One, there will be a really good third baseman standing there, right, when he's on the mound, because this is a ground ball pitcher, and there's people, but there will be a pretty good third baseman standing there.
I feel like we have one right now. Worst case scenario, Jazz Chisholm swung over and did a really phenomenal job doing something that was asked, he's so athletic, that he had never done. So at the very least, you'll have Jazz, and if not, if there's something else that pushes Jazz over to second, that's the beauty of the talent of Jazz Chisholm, is he is an infielder. He can play the outfield. He can do a lot of different things. We like him on the infield. So as of right now, we'll see how the winter plays out.
Okay, are you? And from what I'm gathering, you're still very busy, and there are other things that you want to get here. And is anything close to happening? Are you going to keep going, and this goes through all the Christmas holidays and everything?
We're still engaged. We've done a lot of heavy lifting already, but ultimately, we want to put together the best we can within reason, and so I'm having conversations with free agents. I'm having conversation with opposing teams on trades, and then we also look from within. We have our fallbacks. We got I think we've seen what some of our young kids have done as they've emerged, whether it's Volpe, Clark Schmidt, or Austin Wells, or to name a few. And now you got some new ones pushing their way up, and Dominguez and Rice, and Oswaldo Cabrera wants to take a shot. DJ LeMahieu, it's easy to forget about what he was.
Is he going to be healthy? Is he healthy now?
I would say he's without a doubt going to be healthy coming in spring training. He's had enough time. He's tried to do everything he can to address it, so there's still a curiosity about what he can provide potentially, and so I wouldn't rule that out either. So there's a lot of different things that can transpire, but ultimately, the job right now is what's in front of us, what the opportunity with true opportunities that we can match up with potentially. And it's hard to find matches, and so we're going to talk about a lot of different players, both trade and free agents, but in terms of realistic options, that's where that inventory gets pared down, and we'll see where it takes us.
One of the things, and I'll ask you this for the last time, and I'll never mention it again. Are you guys really convinced that you did all you could to keep Juan Soto in the Bronx?
Oh yeah, I mean we had, we were, again, the dance step is always set by the free agents, when we dance to their tune and take the the suggestions from the agents about where things are and how they want to handle it, and I think we did everything we possibly could, have no second guesses, and he earned the right to go where he wanted to go, and he's made his decision. Congrats, we're happy we had him for the year we had him at the very least. He's one of the game's great players, and he along with his teammates got us to the World Series. Unfortunately, we missed that opportunity to finish it off, so we're back at it, and we'll do it with a different crew.
And okay, of course, that's some of the different crew, and I'll get to Bellinger in a second. Devin Williams, when he was on the Zoom the other day, I'm sure you know that he spent 10 days in New York after you made the trade. He spent 10 days here, and he went to museums. He went to MoMA, and he went to the Brooklyn Museum of Art, and he went to the Museum of Natural History, stayed in New York so that he could feel this team. You got as good a closer when he's healthy as there is in this league. I know it's hard to say goodbye to Nestor Cortez, but when you look at that, how good do you feel about Devin being here?
I mean, it's certainly a big import, no doubt. We lost a lot. We lost Holmes is a big loss out of our bullpen. He's now over, obviously, across town with the Mets in the rotation, but we lost. Right now we have free agencies that have Hill, Canely, Holmes. All these guys got big outs for us in the postseason. I might be missing somebody. If I am, forgive me. So then trying to backfill all that, and so Weaver has emerged and did a great job, and obviously allowing Williams to come in here with this trade, which was a difficult decision to make, because we gave up a lot to get a lot, we hope, and so hopefully it works out for both teams. But yeah, obviously when he's right and healthy, which we think he is, then he should help us secure some outs at the most important time of the game.
Okay, I love the whole, and you were here when Clay was here, and so there's you and me and Michael Kay who are there now, father and son. Cody Bellinger, I know you've been looking at him for a long time, and he's been rooming here for a long time. Really great defensive player, can play center, can play first. What do you expect from him, and how happy are you that you had got him? What's going to be like for you? We're the son of a player that was pretty important to you for a while.
I actually feel young, but the fact of the matter is I acquired his dad back in
99?
In the late 90s, and so now I've acquired his son. So that's kind of crazy just to think about. But listen, Cody Bellinger provides us, it's a perfect fit. He's got a nice uppercut swing here for Yankee Stadium, where most of our home games are at. The way this place is configured, you can't forget now that the Rays are playing at Steinbrenner Field down in Tampa, so that's another, same type of configuration, because that ballpark is exactly the same dimensions as our ballpark. So that's a little extra. It's more than just 81 games where that swing potentially could play, and so at the end of the day, we have vacancies in the outfield, vacancies at first base. He protects us, whether we fill those or not, from internal or not. He protects us with injuries if things happen. It just gives, Boone some more flexibility. So he's very athletic. He can steal bases. He's an above-average defender on the infield and the outfield, at first and the outfield. And so, he's going to, give us a little bit more thump, we hope, and, we'll see. So we had a lot of conversations. It makes sense. Glad, the Cubs got what they needed. We got what we needed. But again, the job is to continue to figure the rest of it out.
You talk about, and we're waiting for Max, and we'll have Max Fried on here in a few minutes. And one of the things, I was at a dinner a couple of weeks ago, and Spencer Jones was there, and he was being honored. And he told me that, and we kind of forget about who is down there, and people that are coming through the system. Spencer told me that he and Ben Rice were going down to Tampa, and they've got a place that they're going to stay and start working out right at New Year's, because they want to get to their next level too. So we sometimes forget that and Ben Rice, did a nice job. I know he had some hitting problems as it went, but this is kind of interesting. We kind of forget that you do have a minor league system down there.
Yeah, and I think it's been producing for us, and I think Rice actually, his hitting profile is better than the ultimately normal results that you watch. So the underlying stuff shows he had a little bit more impact, or could have more impact, and he might not be as far away as people think. So he could very well man first, depending on how this winter plays out, or we could import something. It just depends how the conversations go. But we'll see. So I think our player development side's done a nice job. Our amateur side. Pro and amateur domestic and amateur international have done a nice job of onboarding some stuff, and we'll see where it all takes us. Okay. Ultimately, it takes a whole group, and I like the group we're collecting, and we need more.
I have one more question. How hard a conversation was it with Nestor?
It wasn't easy, because I know he loved being a Yankee, and he did a great job, including, pushing the limits to get back to try to do everything he could to help this team in the postseason, which ultimately I think he publicly spoke to was a dream of his to help us win a World Series, and we got close. We put him in it was a difficult spot to be in, but it just. It's just how it all played out. No one could get Freddie Freeman out in the postseason, at least in our postseason with him. So, Freddie was clicking against everybody. But at the end of the day, it was hard. It's not easy because Nestor obviously was beloved down below and beloved by our fans.
Okay, we're going to have another one of these soon?
I don't know.
Well, okay.
But let me turn it over to someone you'd rather talk to.
Okay. No, I'd always love to talk to you. Okay, thank you, Brian Cashman. And there he is, the man of the hour, Max Street. Hi, I'm Suzyn Waldman. Nice to meet you. Here's your... okay.
Let me throw these on.
Okay, there you go. You look like you're 12 without your mustache.
I know. I've been told that. Actually, it was really funny. I texted Cody Bellinger last night, and we were talking about how we both are going to look like we're teenagers. So.
That's what Brian Cashman and I were talking about, because I was here when Clay was here, and he traded. He went and got Clay Bellinger. So it's kind of interesting. Something you said in the press conference. Before we get to that, I've been wanting to ask you for years. I saw you with. Giolito, and when you went to see your buddy Jack Flaherty pitch against the Yankees, you guys have stayed friends since high school. Did you guys ever lose those games in high school? Did you lose any games, the three of you on the same staff?
So I transferred over my senior year of high school. The school that I was at that shut down, so I was able to transfer.
To Harvard Westlake.
And then I transferred to Harvard Westlake, and unfortunately, at the beginning of that season, Lucas got hurt. So Lucas injured his elbow and was shut down for the whole season, and it actually was the emergence of Jack pitching, because Jack was a third baseman, shortstop, and then we needed a need, and he started pitching and was one of the best high school pitchers that I've ever seen.
Okay, well that's great. I'm glad you cleared that, because I thought the three you pitched 1, 2, 3. I said they never probably lose. Tremendous that you're all still friends and everything. And when Lucas gets back, he's going to be just to the north, and you're going to have another Yankee resident. You're wearing Goose Gossage's number, right?
I do.
Number 54. Okay.
I do.
You had said in the press conference you were a little surprised that the Yankees were so interested. I knew it was number one for a long time. You've been on people's board for a long time. Why were you surprised?
I think that they have a really great rotation, and I guess you don't know who's interested until you're a free agent, right? So all I'd really known was being with the Braves, and at that time, being a free agent and hearing that the Yankees were interested, it was just more of like, I didn't expect to be someone that they would want to target. So it was just more of a, uncertain, but definitely happy and excited that they were,
because you're different than everybody else, and the best at what you do. I always found it fascinating. Obviously the great fastball and the great curve, but you seem to have a little bit of, you tweak things. The word, Matt Blake, the pitching coach, is standing over there. He loves the words tweak. We're going to tweak things, and they have like a laboratory down there. So there's a little more. Did you talk to him? Was he a part of this, of why you signed here?
Absolutely. The ability to have that lab and to make those minor adjustments was definitely a high selling point of being able to fine tune and get just a little bit more consistent, whether it's pitch shapes or whatever that may be, but that definitely was a big reason.
There are so many things before we get to who is here now. I did want to ask you about Chris Sale, because when he walks in that clubhouse, one of my favorite people ever, and when he walked in that clubhouse, I would imagine that you two got along really well, and you probably had a lot to say to each other. What do you learn from a guy like Chris, who's been through a lot? I mean, a lot.
I have nothing but the utmost respect for him. To be the caliber of pitcher that he was for, the first part of his career of just being as dominant as he was, and then to go through the rough injury history that he had and all the work and the hard work that he had put to be able to be healthy and to get back and to see the success, and then it culminate in a Cy Young, of just being able to kind of give that to him. Being able to witness that, to see the hard work that he has in between starts and his mentality, you're able to, understand why he had and has the success that he has in his career. So to be able to sit there and get to know him as a person, and his family and his kids, and be able to also see the competitor that he is on the field, it definitely rubs off on you.
Okay, off to the Yankees. Now, your number one pitcher, Garrett Cole, got Cy Young. The Rookie of the Year, Luis Hill, Carlos Rodon, Max Fried, and probably Stroman is there, and Clark Schmidt. Everybody's a little bit different. And how does it feel for you? You've been in some pretty good rotations, but how does it feel to be in this rotation? And have you talked to Garrett? You guys are from the same area. You could have gone to UCLA. He did. Have you talked to anybody here?
Yeah, I've had a couple guys reach out and been really nice and welcoming. But it's nice being able to slip into a rotation where you know that every single time that someone takes the ball, that you have a really good chance to win that day, and it kind of injects some energy and life into the team, and I've been able to talk to Garrett a little bit, reaching out. He reached out when I signed, and be able to talk to him, and definitely I'm looking forward to sitting down with him and just getting to pick his brain and see what he's got.
He loves to do that. He doesn't just talk a little bit. He talks a lot.
Sounds good.
Has Judge or anybody, have you talked to Aaron? Of course, I'm sure he did.
Yeah, he reached out. He actually reached out just before I came on, so it was really nice. He's been extremely welcoming and completely wonderful.
And I love that you loved that the words that were in that clubhouse, because as years and years ago, I remember, this is from way back from George Steinbrenner. If you don't win here, it's like a failure. That might be a little strong, but you seem to have that kind of mentality.
Yeah, fortunately for me, I've had a lot of really good veterans that prioritize winning over personal accomplishments, and whether it's the accolades or it doesn't matter if you go for 4, if you go and you give up 5 runs. If we come out with a win that day, that's the only thing that matters, and we move on. Because it's the team over yourself. And
the American League East is a little different than any place else. He's usually top to bottom. A lot of hitters. The parks are smaller. Any trepidation about that at all?
No. For me, I feel like I had a pretty competitive division in the NL East for a while. Especially the last handful of years, and there was never really a game off. So you got to know that every time you take the ball, that you got to bring your A game and leave it all out there.
Okay, who do you know here? Do you know? Have you?
I don't think I've played with anyone on the team. I could be wrong, but as far as playing so far on the team currently, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, you look great without the mustache.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you. And
I
now
think it might come back a little bit.
Well, a little bit. Okay, give it to you. Now you look sort of like your pitching coach. This is the first time we've ever seen him in a suit and tie, Matt Blake.
Wow.
Max, welcome to New York.
Thank you so much.
See you in spring training.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Matt Blake is going to come over here. We've got a lot of... Thank you, Max. Matt Blake, pitching coach. Serious young man. That's terrific. We love that.
That's right.
That's right. You know what? When Roger Clemens came over here, this is Matt Blake, pitching coach. When Roger Clemens came over here, first thing out of Mel Stottlemyre's mouth to me was, "Boy, I just became a much better pitching coach."
No doubt about that.
Max Fried just walked in the door and it has a Yankee uniform on.
Absolutely. That it is. Cash always makes us look smarter when he brings guys like that in.
Well, what is it about him? Because he just told us that he was really looking forward to this pitching lab and tinkering and all those kinds of things. What is it like to have someone that is like that? That's really important here.
Well, I think with Max, he can do so many different things with the baseball. He's got 7 different pitches, and I think the ability to put some information in front of him about what makes those pitches good, how do we keep them the best version of those pitches, maybe where some rooms to adapt, and I think that's maybe something he hasn't been as exposed to, which is kind of our wheelhouse. So I think it's a good match there.
Okay, the one thing, and one of the things I sort of made light of last year when the bullpen I said, well, the bullpen blew up, and Matt Blake put it back together and things. Well, it's not blown up, but there are people that are gone now. Obviously, Devin Williams is a big part of this. But what is everybody else that's left? And of course, there are people that are free agents that were here that we hope are back. But when you look at that, are there people in the minor leagues that can take those, that will be vying for those spots, or does everybody go into different roles now?
Well, I think obviously at the back end you've got Williams and Weaver, which is a good combo to start with. Obviously we need to get Ian Hamilton to stay on the field more consistently this year. He can be a big weapon for us. Leiter came on strong in the postseason, and we want to build on that. I think that was great to see how he handled those moments. Clayton Beater's a guy that obviously stands out as maybe didn't get a lot of opportunities with us, but has the ability to be a higher leverage guy with some swing and miss. So that's a guy we got to build into the mix. And I think just going forward, like getting Loiska back could be huge for us. It's a guy that we've really loved having, can throw a lot of different innings for us, and one of the best right-handers in the league when he's right.
Well, when he's right is a big thing, because he's hurt a lot. Is that something that you guys took into account with him? You expect him to stay healthy, because he hasn't been healthy since he's been here. Yeah,
I mean, he had the 22 where he had a really good run with us.
Right.
Last year, obviously, missed quite a bit of time, just the first weekend. But I think getting the elbow right with surgery and doing a thorough job with the rehab, I think not rushing him back in will be important, and making sure he's got a good base when he's ready to come and pitch for us in Yankee Stadium.
Well, and the interesting, now you look at this rotation, and you can never have too much pitching, I understand, but right now there's too much pitching. So obviously Clark Schmidt showed what he can do. Marcus Stroman, are there other things that he can do? Can he be back and forth, a kind of swing guy if he's still here? I don't know what they're going to do, but can you see roles for everybody that's here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't had those conversations yet. It's nice to have the idea that we'll have 6 healthy starters going into camp, and then ultimately what you break with will determine who's in the rotation versus the bullpen. But I do think those guys, if it comes down to it, do have the ability to go to the pen and impact us that way as well. So time will tell. Obviously, we got to get there, and having 6 starters is a blessing right now. What
was your feeling when you heard that Max Fried was going to sign here? I'd like the first impression from the pitching coach when someone like this walks in the door.
That's a good pivot. That's a good start. So I think I really like Max. The fact that he's such a good competitor. He's got a track record of success with a team that's gone deep in the postseason. I think that the fact that the Zoom call did go well, and it resonated for I think everyone on the call, that this could be a good match, and there's some opportunity for a guy with as much pedigree as he has of performing, that there's room to grow and get better with us, which is important.
When you talk to him, and everybody talks about can he play in New York, this wouldn't even enter my head, just talking to him and seeing what's important to him pitching, that he could pitch in this place.
Yeah, I think he just seems like a steady personality, very serious in his demeanor. I feel like the thing that I liked most is he attacks the strike zone, and he minimizes contact quality. So playing in this park, that's important. And I think in this league too, having a lefty that can get both lefties and righties out, we get a lot of platoon matchups that he's going to get 7-8 righties. So I do think he's flexible in how he goes after hitters, which is important.
Well, we're going to be the last people in this room, so I think I'll let you go get the lunch. Matt Blake, thank you very much. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. We'll see you in Tampa.
All right, sounds good. See you guys.
All right, so I think this is wrapping up here. Sal,
yes.
BT, are you guys here? You have any questions?
We've been enjoying
questions
everything.
For me?
We've been enjoying everything, Suzyn. I mean, look, for me, the one thing, and maybe we'll have a chance to talk to Fried ourselves here, but I guess two questions that I would have had. One, how was Kyle Tucker realistic for the Yankees, and would Brian Cashman have to give up heel? And maybe you could shed some insight to that. And two, I'm just curious how Max Fried's going to do in New York. He pitched well against the Mets. He was part of that great race in 2022. He seems to be into it here, but I mean, I guess until you put on the pinstripes and go out there and pitch for the Yankees and the pressure of that, how will we ever know?
Well, you know, and if you'll see that. Listen, pitching for Atlanta in the playoffs. I mean, there was never. I don't have any question about can he handle New York. This is a very serious man who knows what he's doing and comes from a pretty good. That I wouldn't worry about. I don't worry about that at all. The only thing I would worry, can he stay healthy, and that is something that obviously I'm. Oh well. Do you want to come over here, Mr. Boone? Can I have Mr. Boone here?
Tell him we said hello.
Yeah,
Suzyn.
we love Booney.
You can say hello to him. This is
hello.
Hello.
Skip.
What's up? Hey, I want to play that baseball card
Yeah.
game with you guys and wax you in that game.
Yeah,
we
can
go.
wax us? All right, no, we want to set that up, Booney. So
We're good at it, Aaron.
We're ready when you are. Go ahead.
He's very good at this, by the way. He doesn't lose.
We're pretty good too. I'll be honest with you.
See about that.
Oh, okay. Your opinions about this? Sal and BT just wanted 5 minutes with Max Fried, and any question about can he handle New York just goes right out of your mind, right?
Yeah. Look, I'm so excited today. I mean, we're getting a frontline guy that I think has what's been cool to see over the years is to see how he's evolved his repertoire and has the ability to add and subtract to his arsenal. I think that's going to serve him well in the long term. But in the short term, we're getting one of the game's great aces, and the intangible stuff. A guy that fields his position incredibly well. I think is going to be really good in our room, and just watching him the couple times he's faced us, and seeing him over the years, like. You see a very soft-spoken, serious kid that's a little bit reserved, but he's a lion between the lines. This guy competes.
One of the things that he told me, he loves the idea of how Matt Blake with the pitching, all the stuff, and he said it was very important to him. And I've only got 4 minutes with you, I was told, because then you have to go to yes. BT, do you have a question for the manager?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think it's been a great offseason so far. I got to be honest with you, Aaron. Fried is terrific.
We love building teams. BT and I are there. We love building teams.
Yeah, and I would like to know. The moves so far by Cashman have been very, very good. I believe there's more coming. But I think I'd be remiss if we didn't ask for the audience how much you're going to miss Juan, and how surprised are you that he's not coming back?
Yeah. Look, I loved Juan. Getting to manage him. I say this sometimes, and I always say it in this way, because I don't like to say this about another person, but it's like he was very low maintenance for being such a star player. He was easy to coach. I could get on him, and he took it well and applied it. He was great in our room. So, of course, we wanted him back. Of course, we're going to miss him and the player he is. But the other thing is, look, you're never going to build a perfect team, right? But there's also different ways of going about it. And every offseason presents different challenges. You don't know where they're going to go because how you match up with a certain player, how you match up with a team, potentially with trades. But there's no question in my mind that we're building towards a team that's going to have a chance to compete for a championship. And then that's on us once we get down to Tampa to make sure we're doing everything necessary to put ourselves in a good position. So I like how it's going so far, too.
What's the next thing you would like to see done? If there's one thing off the top of your head.
There we go.
But you got to know what he does. If somebody doesn't come, well, this guy can do it, and it'll be fine. See, this is Aaron Boone.
Look, I don't think all these things I'm seeing out there in the public are going to happen. I don't think there's this endless supply of things, but I'd like us to hopefully go out and maybe get another right-handed hitter. But I'm also one of the things I'm really excited about is the pieces we've added. I think we're going to see a big move forward with some of our young guys that we saw emerge last year. I think Anthony Volpe's going to go to another level offensively. We're going to get a full year of Austin Wells. Jason Dominguez now in the mix. Maybe a Ben Rice fits in the. So I'm excited about a few of the guys that I think are going to take a step forward that hopefully, allow us to go to another level as a club.
Okay, and now I'm getting a bad look from Mike Margolis because Aaron Boone now has to go to yes. So thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We'll see you in Tampa.
Yeah, let's do that card game.
You got it, but you're going down, Bodie. You're going down, buddy.
He never does. He never does. Okay, he's going to finish up with yes here. And we're the last ones left in in this press conference room. So, anything you'd like to ask before we wrap up here?
Yeah, Suzyn, I was just reading about this, and obviously, Boone had to leave here, but apparently he just said, I don't know, I didn't hear this during the press conference, maybe I missed it. He said it's fake news that Bellinger's been told he's going to play center. So first base, left field, and center field, all possibilities for him?
Yes, absolutely, because he can do all three. And now, see, this all depends on whether somebody else emerges. Jason Dominguez, before he left here, the last person I talked to after the World Series loss was Jason Dominguez in the hallways because he was around. And he told me, and he has said the whole time that he is a center fielder. I'm a much better fielder than this. And he was going to work all winter on his fielding, whether it's left field. Cody can play anywhere. So you can do that. What I do, I don't know what Boone said, but if you see Aaron Judge any place except right field, unless there's an emergency, you have a scoop here. But I think they could think in both places. Maybe Jason Dominguez comes in and just wins this job and turns into what we thought he was going to be or is going to be, and he is better in center. Cody doesn't care. He can play left, he can play center, he can also play first base. I think they've got other ideas for that, but I don't think he's been told you're your center fielder. I'm sure he is a very versatile player, and I think they're going to use that.
Yeah, I think that you're right. Ideally, for me, you get Walker who could pick it and could hit. You keep Bellinger in center who could get it. You let Dominguez ease in as the left fielder. I got a question for you. It's a quick one.
Yeah.
And it's not incredibly important, but I love the numbers and I love the history. Only so many numbers to go around for the Yankees here. So number 54, Goose had it, as we know. Chapman had it for a minute. Jay Buhner back in the day. Does 54 look good on him? You're in the room?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Anything would look good on this one. Yeah.
No. Interesting. Okay. Hey, want to take a little Broadway show, Suzyn?
Well, probably not our town, right? No, do you know who I think, you know who else? I think Dale Mahorsic had 54.
Oh, I remember him. The horse, yeah.
Do you know Dale Mahorsic? Do you know I remember that?
Why?
Because when he put the uniform on, he started to cry.
Okay.
At his press conference or whatever they had, because he was so moved by having a Yankee uniform on. That was, and I remember things like that. I also remember he gave up home runs at alarming regularity.
Yeah, that's when we were crying.
but I remember when he put it on. This,
wow.
I remember, and I believe he was 54. I believe that.
Yeah, I just looked it up real quick. He did wear 54.
But to a lot of us, it's Goose Gossage's number, and he knew, which I was glad about.
Well, what's the deal with this facial hair policy, Suzyn? Like, come on.
Oh, stop. I'd leave it alone.
Why? It's 2025. Like, guys want to wear facial hair. They feel comfortable. If I had to shave my beard, I would feel insecure because I've gained some weight and I don't feel like myself. If somebody wants to go out
Well, that's why we're not signing you to a $217 million contract.
All right, but what about Devin Williams, who feels comfortable in his beard? Like, if you look good, feel good, play good.
Oh, so he's not gonna pitch well because you're making Devin Williams shave off his beard.
Maybe.
Come on. Stop it. Just stop it.
I'm just saying.
Give me a break. It's almost Hanukkah and Christmas and the New Year's. I like it because there should be some rules. Because then it goes too much. People run amok.
No facial hair and no sweets at the game for players. We got it.
No. If you find sweets in anybody's locker room, look under people's cushions in the locker. There's plenty of sweets.
No. I mean the sweets like Soto wanted.
Oh, those kinds of sweets. Yeah. You're making $760 million. Buy your own friggin' sweet.
Right.
Come on.
Exactly. 100%, Suzyn. Enough of the nonsense.
What, are you kidding me?
Oh, that was fun.
Hey, quit begging, Juan.
Okay.
Go to Queens.
Great job.
It's done. We're over. Have a nice time with Grimace and the purple thing and all of
Hey,
that.
don't forget about the Temptations. Everything else, all the other gimmicks they got out there in Queens.
We love Juan Soto. It's over. Get over it. We're building a different kind of team, okay?
There we go. Thank you, Suzyn. That was tremendous.
Top rope, Suzyn.
Happy holidays, Suzyn, of course.
Happy holidays. Happy New Year.
There you go.
Great job.
She's
We'll talk to you
awesome,
soon.
She's been terrific for us.
She's the best.
Yep.
But I must say,
what
does sound a bit scorned that Soto, like she's moving on and love building teams, and I get that part of it too.
You think she sounds scorned?
Well, Juan Soto, you'll have fun with Grimace and all that stuff. Those are.
She's just saying, enjoy what you got, and we'll enjoy what we got.
Sometimes, all kidding aside, sometimes the best decisions are the ones that are taken out of your hands. Yankees tried to get Juan Soto.
Yeah.
He said no. They had no choice but to go to plan B or C, whatever you want to call it. Maybe in the long run it turns out best for him. They tried to make that decision to bring him back. He said no. Okay, out of your control. Sometimes those turn out to be the best decisions.
Yeah.